Today with my watercolor experimentation, we are going beyond watercolor paper. So what I mean by that is doing things on panel, aluminum, trying some watercolor grounds, putting that stuff on there, seeing what gesso looks like. We're gonna get kind of crazy.
Welcome to my channel.
This is kind of what I'm working with. We have a resist grip with a gesso covered panel. Pretty simple. We have a medium texture. It's a lot smoother. Same kind of size panel. And we got this aluminum, which has a dual side, which is kind of cool. So that's a cool option. And then we have this big panel right here that is wood. And I kind of want to see if I can do also another kind of negative painting with this. And maybe put some clear ground on that, see what it looks like, and see if I can keep this wood texture. This is a transparent watercolor ground. Let's put at least one layer on, see how it does. Okay, I think that's one pretty solid pass. Feels even. It might not look even, but I think that's just because of the wood texture. It's a little rough, and some of it's collecting in some of these pockets. I think if I really wanted it super even, I would have sanded it. Applied, I'm not totally sure, maybe applied a spray, like a fixative or something, a gloss, and then done this on top. But that's why we're experimenting. We're about to find out if this was a solid application. I'll probably do one more pass and leave it at that. Now we're about to get real crazy. This is the kind of rough texture panel. I've already done a painting with a watercolor ground over the panel. That turned out pretty cool. And I've already done a painting where I applied this on top of watercolor paper. That was pretty cool. So let's take it a step further by adding this dimensional ground with some more texture. Oh my God, I want to eat this every time I use it. It looks like delicious icing. The texture is gonna be wild. Shiny. I was just reading some directions on this, but it says for glass, plastic, metal, for the best results, those surfaces will need to be abraded before application of the ground. So that means we're going to use this texture side, apply our ground onto there. Let's try it. This one is not super even in its application, but maybe I can sand between layers. Because this one has such a heavy texture on it, I think I'm going to keep this one as is. It's really smooth, and have this as kind of like a test group, if you will. Alright, let's dive into this textured panel. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. It's like the colors are sticking, but maybe they'll start bleeding, especially when I start adding these other ones. My only fear is that it's gonna get too muddy because I can't add detail. The texture is so intense. While that dries, I'm gonna start on my smooth panel piece, quite the contrast. And here I'm having the rude awakening that my paint is not spreading. It's just beading up, and you can see how hard it is to spread around, and now I'm having to pivot and try a new technique. After getting these circles to how I like them, I'm going to dab away the color around the hands so I can add some intensity and some clarity to the colors I'm about to put down. To keep the hands defined as much as possible, I'm going to basically outline them in the color that I'm using and just kind of work the color in from there. Doing the background felt super risky. I had no idea how this was gonna bleed. I wanted my colorful sand to have a little bit of pop, so I added some 3D crown to my watercolor and dabbed it on with my palette knife. I'm so pleased with how this turned out. It's super cool. I've completed 2 out of the 4 panels that I've got, and the first one I'm about to show you is the rough texture that I did with the 3D grounds and the fine textured sand. Okay, so this one turned out a little unexpected. I was expecting the detail to have a little bit more white showing through because of just the peaks in here and how the water will just kind of get into the grooves more. It was a pain in the ass to paint on, no lie. Though this texture is so yummy, it feels like concrete. I would probably be really satisfied if this was a really large scale. This was really difficult to create depth on. I had to go over spots a few times. This had a really nice transfer from my tracing paper, which was surprising. So I didn't actually have to really draw on this. Drawing on this was more difficult than transferring, which I thought was weird, but it worked out in my favor. And I would be willing to try this again, though it's not like my favorite right now. All right, this one I am super jazzed about. I really hope to try this again. Okay, so this is the panel with nothing on it. It's just straight up gesso. It's very, very smooth. And I really loved painting on this, even though it was really challenging. Because the water just beads immediately, and then you're waiting for it to kind of like soak in a little bit and stain, and then just like try to move it around. Plus, it's very forgiving, which also means it lifts. As soon as you put another like water or brush stroke down, you're going to lift the paint off. So if you did ever want to erase anything, easy peasy. This one, obviously really easy to draw on, and I would love to do this again to try refining it. That's the hardest part, is figuring out how to get the water to stay and get your details in. And then I kind of want to try watercolor pencil or mixed media with this. this would be really cool to try different things on. I did get a little crazy. I don't know if you can see texture. Here, let's try it this way. Wait. Okay. There we go. You can kind of see it's got a little bit of a 3D happening. You can see probably that way too. And that's from me mixing the watercolor with the watercolor 3D grounds. And then I just like dabbed some just to give it this kind of cool sand 3D texture here. But yeah, not too bad. I really am excited to try this one again.
Thank you for watching.